Well, this show sucked. I mean, it's Monday Night Raw. What do you expect? Monday Night Raw always is a pretty bad show, and I'm not gonna. And it's just. Is there really anything positive I can say here? Well, maybe. We'll see. Probably not. So the show began with Miz TV, the Miz, being annoying as always. Like, if there's one thing I can't stand about Monday Night Raw is the Miz. And there's actually a lot of things I can't stand about Monday Night Raw, but the Miz is one of them. The Miz takes himself out of the Elimination Chamber. Well, to be fair, he didn't deserve it anyway. He didn't need to be in there anyway, because he's got the bloody money in the bank. He's got the bloody money in the bank, which, again, he shouldn't have, because John Morrison cashed it in at TLC. But whatever. But The Miz took himself out, and he wanted to replace himself for John Morrison. Then we had Matt Riddle, who I do not give a toss about, as you all know. I cannot stand that guy. And he teamed up with the Lucha Bums to face off against the Hurt Business, and Riddle and the Lucha Bums got the victory. I do not give a flying toss. I do not give a flying toss about this. And secondly, Bobby Lashley comes out and just destroys Riddle. And this is the go-home show of Elimination Chamber. So this must mean Bobby Lashley is losing the United States Championship because he stood tall. I really am hoping Keith Lee is the guy that wins the United States Championship and not freaking Matt Riddle. Bad Bunny. He won the 24/7 title. Do you guys care? I don't. But yeah, we got a rapper as 24/7 champion. Also, WWE.com got this wrong. This next match ended via no contest, not by disqualification, because the website said that Charlotte Flair and Asuka won by disqualification, which that is actually incorrect. Nobody won this match because Lacey Evans just decided to announce that she was pregnant. Now, I don't know if this is a real pregnancy or if this is just a storyline. That's the thing that's the most confusing about this whole scenario. The whole confusing thing about this is that we don't know if this is Lacey Evans being legit and she's actually legit pregnant and they have to take her off TV, or if this is just straight up lies and they're just using this as a storyline. I'm more leaning towards they're going to use it as a storyline, even if it is legit. Even if this is legit and real. The only way for me to be convinced that this is a legit pregnancy, Lacey Evans must not be on Monday Night Raw next week, or in many months to come. This is the only way I can believe this is legit. If I see Lacey Evans still on my television despite her being pregnant, then I say this is all storyline and this is just all a trick. And clearly, you could just look at the body of Lacey Evans. Does her body to you at all clearly look like she's pregnant? She didn't look fat at all. She didn't look fat. So I find this hard to believe that this is actually a real pregnancy. I believe this is just a storyline. I believe this is just a storyline, but even if it is a part of the storyline, it is just even worse. I mean, do we really need something like this? Charlotte Flair is somebody who I believe deserves a lot better than just a storyline with Lacey Evans. People can bitch and moan about how she's always in the title picture and how she's always getting opportunities. You can bitch about that all you want, but there is no way you can tell me that you are happy with Charlotte Flair being in this situation. You wanted her out of the title picture? Well, this is the shit that happens. Well, this is the shit you're gonna get. You're gonna get her in an angle where she's involving with Lacey Evans, pretending to be pregnant. Again, I don't know if this is a legit pregnancy, or if this is just a part of the storyline, but at the end of the day, we will only know until next week. Secondly, Asuka now has no opponent at Elimination Chamber. They were hyping it up as Lacey Evans versus Asuka for the championship. And now Lacey Evans goes down with a pregnancy, and now Asuka doesn't have an opponent. I say just replace her for Peyton Royce, or give it to Naomi. But since Naomi is most likely going to be competing for the Women's Tag Team Championships, I'd just give it to Peyton. Because why not? Why not? Why not? What? Because why not Peyton Royce? Because why not? At least she ain't gonna win, obviously, but at least it gives Asuka something to do. At least it gives Asuka something to do. Or bring in a debuting Rhea Ripley. It's better than not defending your title at all. So I don't know how to feel about this whole situation. But if this is a storyline, I would not be shocked if this ends up getting involved. I would not be shocked if this ends up involving Andrade. But either way, let's move on. So because The Miz wanted to take himself out of the Elimination Chamber, he wanted to put John Morrison in. Then Kofi Kingston, he would vouch his place inside the chamber because he's a former WWE champion. And this was a bit of a running theme that happened throughout the show with Braun Strowman as well. The Miz called John Morrison a former ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Yes, so what? Just because he's a former ECW Heavyweight Champion doesn't mean he belongs in doesn't belong inside a chamber full of former WWE champions. It was the same thing with Braun Strowman. He wanted to be inside that chamber, and he said, "Oh, I'm a former Universal Champion." So, you are not a former WWE Champion. I don't get it. I don't know how every World Championship now counts as, oh, I'm a former WWE Champion. That's not the case. But Kofi Kingston would end up defeating The Miz to earn a place in the Elimination Chamber. I was kind of surprised because I thought Ali was going to do something, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then we had Shayna Baszler versus Lana. Shayna Baszler would end up defeating Lana. Honestly, I don't care. Not because I don't like Shayna Baszler, but I just did not really care for this, to be honest. I just want those titles off of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And then we move on to the Gauntlet. We had AJ Styles defeat Kofi Kingston. Then Drew McIntyre would come out next, and it would be his turn. Why couldn't they just have Drew McIntyre start the Gauntlet? Would have made more sense to me. But, Drew McIntyre would go on to defeat AJ Styles. And then Drew McIntyre would also go on to defeat Jeff Hardy. Drew McIntyre would also go on to defeat Randy Orton in about a minute, because Alexa Bliss, who also appeared on the show, teasing the return of The Fiend, she appears, and then she all of a sudden turns into Zamasu for the night, having her face appear all over the place because Zamasu did something very similar in Dragon Ball Super, and then Randy Orton gets counted out. And it was something I predicted. And it was something I predicted. I predicted Alexa Bliss was gonna do something to screw with Randy Orton. Seriously. Seriously. How am I supposed to believe a single second that The Fiend and Alexa Bliss are the good guys in this story? Because seriously, WWE makes no sense of this. They literally make no sense of, because you know how they pipe in crowd noise? They pipe in boo noises for Randy Orton, and every time The Fiend or Alexa appears, they pipe in cheering noises. How are The Fiend and Alexa baby faces in this story when it doesn't make any sense for them to be? It makes no sense for them to be baby faces. I get it. Randy Orton's better as a heel, but does that mean you have to make two characters that are clearly not baby faces babyface? The Fiend isn't someone I should be cheering for. I should be scared of this man. I shouldn't be cheering for a man in a scary mask. I shouldn't be cheering for a girl who's basically a rip-off of Harley Quinn. Like, because people use The Fiend and Alexa and people compare them to the Joker and Harley Quinn from the Batman series. People compare them from the Batman series. If you're going to compare them to the Batman series, then they're villains. Then they're heels. They're not baby faces. That's like making the Joker and Harley Quinn the good guys in the Batman series. And Batman is the villain. And it's up to Joker and Harley Quinn to kill Batman. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You can't make Joker and Harley Quinn heroes. That's like, you can't make them heroes, because they're not heroes. Sure, Randy Orton isn't exactly the hero type either, but Randy Orton being the babyface makes more sense than it being The Fiend and Alexa. Just made no sense to me. And by the way, I predicted Sheamus was going to win this gauntlet, and that's exactly what happened. Sheamus was the last guy to enter, and Sheamus becomes the first guy since Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell last year to pin Drew McIntyre. So Sheamus defeats Drew. He now earns the final spot, and he proclaims that he will win the chamber and become WWE champion. Yep, that is really all for this show, and I honestly really did not care. Because since Monday Night Raw doesn't make me care, why should I care? Dear, oh dear. Oh yeah, there you go. We got ourselves a bit of a shorter review today, because I just do not give a shit. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me for this review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. And I will see you all next time.